we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. On infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections.
If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious.
Violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs, hurting businesses, and burning down buildings. They are coming after me because I am fighting for you. That's what's happening.
Greetings, fellow thought criminals, and thank you for joining the insurrection. I'm Michael Lauber. This is Derek Evans. It's Wednesday, and it's the middle of yet another glorious week in America's new golden age.
I'm telling you what, man, we're living the dream right now with President Trump back in there. I mean, we came through a 4-year nightmare. Now we feel like we're living the dream. We just got to keep pushing forward. It's been awesome. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe, whatever you're doing, whatever platform you're watching on. If you have a Rumble account, I don't care if you're watching on X, Getter, wherever else. If you have a Rumble account, please go to Rumble, subscribe to our account over there. It's X America News. Really appreciate that. And as always, guys, if you're watching live, hop in the chat. We'd be happy to give you guys a shout out, kind of like this. We have Dan Dreyer in the Rumble chat right now, and then a special shout out. We got Thaddeus, and then a special shout out to Brandon Wardrop over here in the X chat. Looked at your profile, Brandon. So you're a disabled U.S. Army veteran. Thank you for your service to our country. God bless you, and thanks for watching our show.
Yes, thank you to everybody. And we're just going to get right into it because we got good news coming out of a fire hose right now. Not to say there aren't some scary things on the horizon, but we're going to start off right here. Americans give Trump a big thumbs up and deliver crushing news to Democrats in new poll. So this is 70% of the population. So that includes a fair number of Democrats. Approve of the job that Trump is doing right now. They're behind DOJ. They're behind securing our border, and they're behind cleaning up all the corruption in Washington. And the establishment media just doesn't know how to deal with it. But it doesn't stop there. 58% of voters say that Trump is doing a better job than Biden. And this is from a Harvard-Harris pollster who, typically leans a little to the left. We also have Trump is now more trusted by Americans than the media, according to YouGov. And again, we're talking about a polling institution that leans a little to the left. And of course, the media is just absolutely up in arms about this.
Dude, that's the craziest thing is, first of all, I still don't trust polls. I don't care what polls say. I don't trust them. But I do think that we can confidently say that the majority of the people in this country are happy with the job that President Trump is doing right now. I don't necessarily know the exact number of those people, the results, but I'll tell you something interesting. In addition to all of this, Andrew Yang, we all know who he is. He had a poll yesterday or day before on his own X feed. We know he's very far left. And he himself had asked, well, how good of a job is President Trump doing? And about 70% of the people on Andrew Yang's Twitter poll, X poll, also said that he was doing a very good job. You know that Andrew Yang asked that question and had that poll expecting much different results. And I thought that was very fascinating and hilarious. It kind of ties in with the other polls that we just discussed just now.
Well, it's the same effect that we saw throughout the election cycle. As the media goes crazy, they try to skew everything in a negative direction, and then in 24 hours, there's a rebound, and all of a sudden they're proven incorrect. They're proven that they've lied or they're mischaracterizing things. And they just keep stepping on the rake and hitting themselves in the face over and over and over again. And then we got people like James Carville out here, human alligator hybrid. Dem strategist James Carville gets high on hopium, claims Pence Trump White House will collapse in the next 30 days. Now, again, like, this is just so off base compared to the reality that we're seeing right now. And the minute that there was even a 1 point drop in Trump's approval numbers or the approval of these programs, that would be wall to wall coverage. We already saw some Democrat commentators, Packman and others, take one poll that was, again, out of alignment with the rest of them, and where Trump did drop a few points on overall approval. But again, that's one poll, not the aggregate. Everyone else shows either consistency or his approval going up. And they tried to cast this as, oh, well, this is it. This is the sign. This is where he's going to come crashing down. And again, all of us know that does not reflect reality.
Yeah, well, quick shout out to Not Teresa's Real Hairline over here in the X American News X chat. Appreciate you for tuning in. Says that the media are clowns, which they are. Imagine living in this fantasy world like James Carville here, where he like truly believes that that the entire administration is going to collapse within the next 30 days. I mean, this isn't somebody who's saying, "Hey, I don't think they're doing a good job," or "I'm not happy with them," or "I don't like this person." Like, he's over here living in this fantasy world, or he has at least helped to convince other people and brainwash them into living in this fantasy world where they believe that the entire administration is just going to collapse. I don't know what they think is going to happen after that. Are they going to come and install Kamala Harris? I don't really know. But imagine living in that sort of your own reality, if you will. The left truly are brainwashed. They truly do have a mental health issue in terms of dealing with reality. It's amazing to me how they can take any situation, twist it, and create their own version of truth and reality to live by.
Oh, yeah. Well, I kind of wonder if somebody didn't give Carville a talking to, because we covered a couple other statements he's made over the last few weeks. And honestly, on those, I think he was right on the money. I mean, he said, the Democrats are rudderless right now. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. And that he wondered if there wasn't somebody on the inside basically sabotaging them, trying to get the most idiotic policy possible and see if they'll just approve it and go along with it. Well, the donors have definitely figured it out. Democrat donors are in revolt. Shut off cash flow to party. No message, no organization, and no forward thinking. And again, this is exactly what's been on display this whole time. They're out there flailing. Their rent-a-mobs don't show up now that USAID and other funding's been cut off. I wonder why that possibly could be. Again, they have no direction. Instead, they've doubled down on stupid. They've continued to embrace this tranny madness and other policies that are completely out of sync with where the American people are.
We're at a point right now where the left, they're having a civil war within their own party. The extreme left people are winning that battle right now at taking over the Democrat Party. And we're in a situation right now where if you have even a lick of common sense, there's no place for you in that party anymore. You have no home in the Democrat Party if you have any sort of common sense. Now, we as conservatives have to be careful as those people get shoved out of the Democrat Party. They're looking for a home. Of course, we welcome them to vote with us. Of course, we welcome them on the issues that they agree with us on. But we do have to be careful and not allow these leftists. They're still leftists. They just maybe have some common sense in the standpoint of boys are boys and girls are girls, for instance. We can't allow those people to come into our party and water down our ideology and our values, all for the sake of just saying, hey, Republicans are winning now. No, we need to actually, I believe we're at a point in the Republican Party and the MAGA movement that we've got to actually hold the line here a little bit on some of these things and, work with them, obviously, whenever, it presents itself and we agree and it aligns with our values. But we need to be very careful because there's going to be a lot of very influential people within the Democrat Party who are going to be leaving that party. It doesn't mean they're changing their ideology. It doesn't mean that they, now believe in freedom overall or whatever. It might simply be because they don't agree with the transgender issue and if they're still want to take our guns and believe in, bigger government, all those things. I'm sorry, I don't want to support them in terms of, the Republic, in terms of the MAGA movement, in terms of, conservativeship. I can say thank you. I appreciate that, you agree and that boys are boys and girls are only two genders, but we still disagree on these other issues. So I think that's where we're at right now, and I think we got to be careful.
Yeah, I agree. We don't need anybody else diluting our vote or diluting the Republican Party. We still have enough rhinos that need to be removed, all these undocumented Democrats. We certainly don't need to embrace their failed policy on the left. American people have already rejected that. Well, my favorite ratchet hood rat, Jasmine Crockett, thinks she's figured it out. Rep. Jasmine Crockett says Democrats need to dumb down messaging to reach less educated Republican voters. You know, I mean, I think the only way they could dumb down their messaging anymore at this point is if they wrote it in crayon. But, you know, hey, you know what? Maybe she should just go ahead and try that. If they simplify things enough, maybe they'll pick up some voters, but it's not going to be from the Republican side. It's going to be some of these disaffected Democrats that are just desperate for any kind of victory.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to give some shout outs here. We got Brent watching from the 51st state in Canada. We got Kristen. Appreciate you for tuning in as well. And man, I'll tell you what, Jasmine Crockett, she has really just, I think she's attempting to replace AOC as the dumbest person in Congress, to be honest with you. Some of the things that she's been saying here recently. She was recently on a podcast where she openly admitted that she's cheering for U.S. and Mexico over the United States of America right now. And this is a member of Congress. I don't even know how you can remain a member of Congress after saying something like that. That's crazy to me. But the thing I think that bothers me the most about not just that comment, but some of the things from the left is that they try to say, you know, to the less educated people, you know, they try to say that Trump supporters are not educated. I'm sorry. I say this as somebody who has a college degree, I have a bachelor's degree. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done was spend that money and that time to go to college and do that. I was told I had to. I don't even use that degree, but I have a college degree, and that has nothing to do with intelligence or whether someone is educated or not. These people believe that you have to go through all these liberal indoctrination camps. And if you get a piece of paper saying that you completed the liberal indoctrination camp, now you're an educated person. I'm sorry. I completely disagree. There's known cases of people out there with middle school educations that are running $1 million companies and corporations and are doing just fine in that regard as well. And so a piece of paper from a liberal institution does not mean that you are educated. It literally, if you show up to class, they're going to pass you. As long as you keep paying them and show up. I know that because I did that. You just show up, you're going to get a piece of paper at the end of that saying, congratulations, you gave us enough money to finally get a piece of paper from a liberal indoctrination camp. But so that bothers me. There's a lot of very intelligent, educated people who never went to college. I would argue that the welder and the plumber and all of that, they're way more educated than somebody who's got a degree right now flipping burgers, complaining, wanting somebody to forgive their student loans. I would say that person's way more educated.
Yeah, I mean, just look at how many people are college or high school dropouts that go on to become billionaires that shape industry. You know, we've got Bill Gates, a bunch of their idols on the left, or again, just people that have shaped our country's future. It's usually because they're smarter than the programs they're trying to get into. But at the end of the day, Crockett's wrong anyway. This isn't about messaging. That's not their problem. Their problem is they're pushing stuff that the American people don't want, and they do continually side with America's enemies over the American people. So, I mean, this is why they're losing. But they don't want to admit the real reasons. Instead, they want to blame it on fictitious racism and other just nonsensical garbage, and not that their platform, their values no longer align with the American people, and the people have finally found this courage to stand against them. But again, it doesn't end there. Maybe they're losing popularity for things like this. Jayapal slammed as racist for saying illegal immigrants should not be deported because they pick crops Americans eat. And this is something we've seen echoed by heroes of the left over and over again. This just embedded racism in their ideology. I mean, I guess it is in their roots, going back to the Civil War. They've always stood against freedom for the American people. They tend to have some group that they target. And you know what? They're just upset now that their slaves are being taken away. This time it's their wage slaves, the illegal aliens that they abuse, that they pay below market wages to pick their crops and scrub their toilets and mow their lawns. They're just upset because their slaves are being taken.
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Kelly Song in the Rumble chat, and then we've got Jen and Dan And I'm sorry, Christy over here, and William and Pita Chips all in the X chat. And then I wanted to say, Kristen said from our previous conversation, said, I learned more in the bar I worked at during college than I did in actual college. And I have to agree with that as well, 100%. And that's just, really drives home that point in terms of how the left acts about that. In terms of the lady we're just talking about there, that is what the left does. They love to create this victim mentality. They love to passive aggressively put down these other people, because guess what? It is extremely racist to pretend that the illegals or immigrants in general or whatever, the only thing that they're capable of doing is picking crops for us, as if they're just some cave people who just showed up and were like, get out there and be the best gatherer you can be, or whatever, like that is not, these that is also why we got to get back to, in my opinion, what's the word I'm looking for, where we admit people to this country based on merit based. Yeah. People coming into our country. We don't look, if we've got enough people to pick crops, I'm sorry, we don't need to be importing people picking crops. If we got enough people doing, whatever, but the world's top brain surgeon in the entire world, if he wants to come over here and operate on Americans, by all means, come on. You know what I mean? Like that, we need to be going after the best of the best. And I say that, but I also can admit and say that I know, and this is something I don't think that the left truly appreciates. I don't think that they truly love our country. I don't think that they truly appreciate the gift that they've been given in terms of being born in this country. I understand that I hit the lottery by being born at this time in the United States of America. I get that. But guess what? I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. And I think that those on the left, I don't even think that they believe that. I don't think that they believe that this is the greatest country in the world. I don't think that they believe that they've got all these opportunities in front of them because they have this victim mentality. And I think that's a huge disconnect between the left and the right that not enough people talk about. I think that most of us on the right, I think that we do understand how lucky and fortunate we are to be living here and be born here in the United States of America. And I don't take that for granted.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. Their alignments have become more and more clear that they are anti-American and that they uphold countries like China in higher regard than they do their own people here in the United States. They continually side against our interests, against the American people's interests, and instead choose to prop up dictators around the world and come up with ways to, line their own pockets in the process. But that's all getting uncovered and unveiled right now. And that's, again, why their popularity is failing. It's also for reasons like this. Leaked text messages from Fox 11 Los Angeles reveal reporters have been instructed to not cover secret recording of Karen Bass' phone call. Again, she's caught in the act yet again, both regarding blaming, who was it? It was one of her advisors for not telling her not to go to Ghana, and she ignored and blamed them for ignoring the warnings about the situation regarding fires and high winds and the danger in Los Angeles. But instead, she's trying to manipulate the media, tell them, you guys shouldn't cover this. This was leaked. This is whatever. But this is what the games that they play. They don't want any accountability to the American people. They don't want anybody investigating their actions, highlighting their misdeeds. And instead, they will try to use their power to, by denying, interviews and access to journalists, use that as a way to leverage them to not cover stories that will make them look bad.
Well, first of all, I have to say I learned something today. I did not realize, this is going to make me look dumb probably. I did not realize that San Francisco, or Los Angeles, I should say, was founded in the 1781. That I didn't realize it was that old. So shame on me, I guess, for not knowing that. But anyway, that's random. Wow. Yeah, it's what it said on the little seal there in the background on that. It said it was founded. I was like, wow, I did not realize that it was founded that early. That's crazy. Anyways, this whole thing out there in California right now, you're watching the left eat themselves. You have the DEI fire chief who Karen Bass is now thrown under the bus and fired her for openly admitting in an interview that she did not have the resources and everything she needed to be successful in fighting these fires. I thought the craziest thing though was, we all know that, Karen Bass left after the fires had already started. For the record, the fires had started when Karen Bass left. Don't let the media try to twist and say that because they try to say she was out of the city, out of the country when when the rampage. No, she was not. She was home when the fires first started. Now, they weren't burning down the entire city. I'm not going to act like that, but it was a serious fire already at the time. They know this. They have these issues out there. And so when they asked why she decided to go out of the country on a trip with the fires going on, she said that she was going to investigate this. So you're going to investigate why someone else told you that you could go out of the country when fires were going on. You're the mayor. I'm sorry. And you are a grown woman. Like, take some responsibility. I would even be okay if you came out and said, you know what? I messed up. I didn't know this fire was going to get out of hand like this. We have a lot of fires on a regular basis. I already had this trip planned. I decided to go ahead and go, left some people in charge, thought it'd be fine. As soon as I found out, I came back. Just be honest about the situation. If that is, in fact, the truth. It bothers me when they try to gaslight us and lie to us and twist this and pretend, that we're idiots. Like, don't insult our intelligence. That really frustrates me when they do that. So that was my big thing. And then I wanted to give a quick shout out to Never Share over here in the X chat, Dan Given as well. And then we've got Riz Hart over here and watching from California. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Oh, the People's Republic of California. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break, and then I'm going to be back with even more reasons the Democrats continue to fall on their face right now.
When things go sideways, will you be ready? Meet the new Patriot Power Generator 1200, a solar generator that's lightweight with more capacity and more life cycles, and recharges twice as fast, all at a fraction of the price. In a blackout, power lights, TVs, medical equipment, even your fridge. No gas, fumes, or noise. It's safe to use inside your home. This is about peace of mind. To learn more about this amazing generator and get your free solar panel, go to Patriot TV store and look for the solar generator banner.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist, and a television and radio host have in common? They all saw the writing on the wall. Big banks sharing your financial information with big government. Join them as owners in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Invest today at own.oldglorybank.com.
Well, hello everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure for this, I hope I'll see you at lutfstudio.com.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs, Patriot TV is launching a brand new TV series showcasing American-made products, and your business could be featured. Whether you sell your products online on Etsy or Shopify and dream of reaching millions of viewers on smart TVs like Samsung, Sony, TCL, and LG, or apps like Roku, Android, and Apple TV, this is your chance. We're searching for US-based businesses offering all types of products and services proudly made in the USA. If you've ever wanted to showcase your products on TV like QVC or the Home Shopping Network, now's your opportunity. Support our American economy, grow your business, and be seen by loyal Patriot viewers across the country. Know someone with a business or have a business yourself? Don't miss out. Contact us at supportingpatriots.com today. Be a guest on this new exciting TV series. Let's put your American-made products in the spotlight.
Thank you for staying with us. And again, the best way to support our program and all the programs here on Patriot TV is by supporting our sponsors.
Absolutely. And we got one more, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
We got sticker pack. Yep, stickerpack.com, guys. I don't know if you guys are ready to show your support in style, but head over to Sticker Mule. Sticker Mule has a fantastic offer just for you. For a limited time, you can grab free Trump stickers. Yes, you heard that right, guys. It's 100% free. Whether you want to decorate your laptop, car, or office space, these high-quality, durable stickers are perfect for making a statement. Just imagine how great they'll look, and they're super easy to apply. Here's how it works. You head over to stickerpack.com. That's stickerpac.com. Sign up, claim your free stickers, and watch the fun unfold. So don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Stock is limited, so act fast, spread the word, and let your voice be heard with Sticker Mule's awesome stickers. And as I said, head over to stickerpack.com and grab your free Trump stickers before they were all gone. So thank you guys for that. And before we get on our next story, Mike, I do have an audience question that I think that you're actually going to like as well. It's from Brandon, our special shout out guy earlier. Appreciate you once again, Brandon. Wants to know, how do you feel about Dan Crenshaw being labeled an enemy of America? And I'll let Mike take it away because I know he's going to speak for both of us on this.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a better person. Eye Patch McCain's been a thorn in our side for really since he's been in office. And I think part of the reason there is such a hatred for Crenshaw is because, when he ran for office, a lot of us were excited. He said all the right things. He took all the right positions. And then this is a guy that really just turned into an undocumented Democrat the minute he was handed any power whatsoever. So, if he's going to go around and threaten people, we're going to cover this story later anyway, but he threatened to kill Tucker Carlson, an offhanded comment that happened to be caught on tape, and he has been referred to the ethics committee for review. But again, this is somebody that's already shown he's mentally unstable numerous times in the past, either threatening other journalists. And is this the guy that went after Noel when he was walking up the stairs, tried to kick him?
Yes, that is the same guy who kicked Noel Fritch, our buddy who was just on the show the other day with National File. And I was laughing because Austin the Coal Cracker over here in the chat responding to this says, "That damn Cyclops." I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some Dan Crenshaw memes later this week. I've got a few good ones that have popped up since this last incident. But, to go back to our sort of theme today, this is yet another reason why the Democrat Party is just falling apart right now. So this is a tweet from Charlie Kirk. What on earth is going on in Wisconsin? Because you guys hadn't heard, Wisconsin, as part of their budget changes, changed language on how they refer to various people. So instead of wife or husband, that's changed to spouse. Okay, I can see where that one's not too controversial. Instead of mother, it is now inseminated person. I don't know if that's better or worse than uterus haver or cisgender woman or whatever, but that's up to you guys. Residents of Wisconsin, is this how you want to be represented?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Instead of paternity, it's now patronage. So I guess your job is just to support the children. You take no other role in their life. Instead of father, it is natural parent. I'm slightly confused on that one. And instead of man or woman, it is now just going to be person in all official documents going forward. I mean, how much crack do you have to smoke till you get behind changes like this?
Well, so I've got 4 kids. I'm sitting here just thinking about, one of them talking to their friends and be like, "That's my natural parent over there," instead of their dad. There's my natural my natural parent's coming to pick me up later today. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about that, just how crazy these people are. I think out of all of them, the most frustrating to me, or the most slap in the face, is changing mother to inseminated person. Like what is? I mean, even if you wanted to get away from the word mother, which I think mother is a beautiful name. I think it's a great name. It's worked for thousands of years. I don't see any reason to try to change it at this point. But if they are determined to change it, I don't understand how they sat around in a room one day and thought inseminated person would be the correct choice of words to describe a mother. Like, to me, that is such a cold term in an attempt to describe a mother, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're losing support among women voters. What can we do to fix that? I know. Let's refer to all mothers as inseminated persons. That'll bring them back to us. Yeah, again, none of this makes any sense, but nothing they do makes sense. Like our friend Rachel Maddow. Whoa, Rachel Maddow goes on unhinged rant. Well, that's not news. That's pretty much every night. Attacks her own network. Suggests MSNBC is racist for ousting two non-white hosts after Joy Reid's show is canceled. Again, par for the course, but it's yet another like moonbat move that just furthers the divide between the Democrat Party and the American people.
I'm sorry, I laugh sometimes, guys, because I truly read as many comments as I can. Dan Dreyer says, so a father is now an inseminator. I just thought that was really that was funny. So while I'm already over here in the chat, I'm going to give some quick shout outs for our comment. We got LR Katis, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. We got Peace, and we got David P. We got Kay Kilm, and Jen over here. Appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with us. So back to Rachel Maddow. First of all, I'm not convinced. I don't know if maybe I'm open to being convinced. I'm still open-minded about it, but I still am starting to think that Rachel Maddow and Mark Cuban are the same person. I've never seen them in the same place at the same time, number one. Number two, Rachel, listen, I love that you care so much about your other people. And in fact, instead of virtue signaling about saying those things, you should go to your producers and willingly give up your show so that one of your friends who's a person of color could have that slot. That would be the real way to show that you're serious about this. Otherwise, it's just virtue signaling. That's all it is. And I don't blame you for not wanting to give up your show to let somebody else have it. I don't blame you. But I'm not going to sit here and virtue signal and act like I'm better than everyone else and claim that, that's wrong that they're doing that. Like, they kept you. You're a white host. They kept you. So if you really feel that way, step down and give your show to someone else. But she won't do that because that's not really what this is all about. It's about virtue signaling.
Exactly. Well, Rachel, somebody's got to hop on the grenade, and right now that looks like that's you. But, again, I expect nothing less out of these people. This is always how they are. It's hollow, empty words, no action behind it, unless they're able to take action by spending your money, the taxpayer, instead of theirs to accomplish their goals. And yet again, this is just more evidence of how disconnected they are from the American people. But I'd expect nothing less. Maybe the reason their support is falling is because of all these insane decisions leftist judges are making to try to interfere with policy that the American people are clearly behind. So we have yet another example of that. Breaking news. Federal judge says Trump can't stop refugee admissions to the United States. Now, this retard even admitted in his ruling that Trump has the power to determine immigration policy, to set immigration policy. So despite that, he's still trying to force this refugee resettlement program to reopen it. Obviously, the Trump administration is going to fight this further up the chain, but it's well outside of the judiciary's power. They continue to interfere with President Trump's constitutional duties. All of this is going to get smacked down in the courts, but they'll do anything to even stall progress and things that the American people want for purely political reasons.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sean over in the Getter chat. Good seeing you, Sean. Man, I'll tell you what, we are headed for a potential serious constitutional crisis right now. I mean, we really are. There's not enough. I mean, everybody's talking about the activist judges. Everybody's talking about Trump needs to ignore them, which I agree with. Trump needs to ignore them at this point. I 100% agree. But I don't think that there's anybody who's truly discussing what from a constitutional standpoint happens when we get to this impasse where the judge says you can't do something and the president says, I'm the president, what I'm doing is constitutional, what you're saying I can't do is unconstitutional, I'm doing it anyway. What happens? Because the judges don't have any authority to enforce their rulings. They don't. Which is a good thing. They don't have the authority to send somebody to go get to go get somebody. They don't have that authority. They can't do that. And the president arguably, doesn't have to answer to these judges on it. So I don't know. I don't know we've ever gotten to this point in our country. I think this is it's been a historic campaign. It's been a historic election. It's been an historic everything for the last little bit. So I might as well add this to the list, but I don't believe there's enough people discussing from a constitutional standpoint. And I'm not claiming to know. I think if anybody tells you they know what would happen, I believe that they would be lying to you, because I don't think anybody knows, because it's never happened before. But we are at this point right now where you have the president, a duly elected president of the United States of America, who is being where there's activist judges attempting to undermine a duly elected president of the United States of America. I don't know why these judges believe that they have the authority to legislate and do these things from the bench. But I'll tell you, we've talked about draining the swamp, exposing the swamp. We talked about in the first term of President Trump that really ended up, we didn't mean for this to happen. It really turned into a 4-year term of really more about exposing how deep the swamp really was, because it was much bigger and deeper and stronger than what we had originally realized. And so it was impossible to drain it in 4 years. I believe that now, early on in the second term, I believe that it's really right now we're uncovering the corruption within the judges. The fact that this many judges have been allowed themselves to be brainwashed into believing that they have more authority than the president of the United States of America just tells you what kind of culture has been created within that institution and how weaponized these judges have become. And this is a major, major issue that can't be fixed in one presidential term. Even if we impeached all of them, it wouldn't be fixed in one. This is a cultural issue within this group of people that is not being discussed, and it's going to take. Hopefully, we can get J.D. Vance or another Republican in there for 8 years after Trump. We might be able to start cleaning up these judges if we have a 12-year window to get it done. But this is going to be the most difficult task, I believe, in terms of the task of draining the swamp. The most difficult task is going to be getting not one or two judges, but the entire institution of these judges in check moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. I think removing and impeaching some of these judges that are clearly overstepping their bounds, blocking the will of the people, and ignoring the Constitution is step one. But I also think Republicans going forward, if the Democrats ever get any kind of power again, we can't just appoint their judges. Right now, it's mostly a rubber stamp. Our side of the aisle tries to follow the Constitution and allows the president to appoint people that they want for their positions. They just rubber stamp whoever's in front of them just about. I mean, you've really got to be like a total whack job before there's any real pushback on things. But going forward, you know what? I think we need to do exactly like the Democrats and all just vote en masse against anybody they put up for any position. As we've seen throughout these Trump appointments, that very few Democrats supported anybody besides Marco Rubio. He's the only one that got through relatively easy, and I think that's just because he was a prior senator. But going forward, any judges or any other positions they put up, it's time for us to put up as many roadblocks as they do, dig into their past. We need to have big, elaborate hearings, drag out every witness we can. We need to start treating it like theater, like they do, and just beat their nominees down to the point where even if they do get into office, they're going to be far less effective because we've exposed all their little dirty secrets out of their past.
Absolutely. We got some good audience chatter here. Dan Given is asking, what is, about getting these judges impeached. A lot of other people are asking the same question in different chats and stuff too. So here's the deal and the issue with that. We do have control of the House and the Senate right now, but to convict on impeachment in the Senate, I believe is 2/3, which we don't have. But we do have the numbers in the House to impeach these judges. There is, the whole hearing process where you can get out here and, expose these people for where they are. So even though the Senate would not vote to convict, even if every Republican voted to convict which they wouldn't because there's a ton of rhinos in the Senate as well. But even if every Republican voted to convict, it still would not be officially passed in the Senate. But I believe it's still worth starting the impeachment process on these judges for multiple reasons. Number one is to kind of spotlight and bring these hearings in here and actually show the American people how corrupt and weaponized these activist judges really are. And they need to actually produce it the same way that the left did the January 6th sham committee. They need to bring in actual producers and actually produce this and present it and package it to the American people in a way that they can easily understand. I'm not talking about people watching this show. I'm talking about your random neighbor who doesn't watch the news, only watches ball games and just reads headlines here and there. These are the people we need to reach in terms of how weaponized these activist judges really are, and that's how you do it. And then even if it doesn't, pass the Senate, at the very least, we have that stain on their record that passed the House. And I feel like that would, at the very least, help prevent some of the worst from getting further promotions. Imagine one of these left-wing extremist activist judges one day sitting on the U.S. Supreme Court. How scary that is. So if we can impeach them in the House today, even if it doesn't, officially go through on the Senate, if we could do that today and put that stain on their record, which would hopefully at least prevent them from becoming a Supreme Court justice or even a higher up judge than what they are right now, that would still be a major win, in my opinion, is just putting this on their record and getting this out in front of the public.
Oh yeah, agreed. And it's a good first step. Well, we got more judges to talk about, so I'm going to grab one more before we go on our next break. Just in, Biden judge scolds Trump admin, blocks Office of Management Budget from reinstating federal spending freeze. So again, they're saying that the executive can't put in a 90-day freeze on all this insane federal spending. It's going to get fought further up. And again, constitutionally, of course, they have this authority. This is part of the problem, is these judges are not disputing things on firm legal ground or even shaky legal ground. Instead, they're just making things up whole cloth and expecting President Trump to go along with it and not fight it.
Yeah, well, man, there's so much to unpack with all of this stuff. I mean, there really is. Kristen brought up Eli Crane is proposing impeachment for each one of these judges, and yes, he has already. Shout out to Congressman Eli Crane for being a patriot, and there's a few others have done it too, but he seems to be leading the way right now. I think Andy Ogles, Congressman Andy Ogles from Tennessee, has also filed a couple of articles of impeachment. So we do have some stuff moving there. Whether it moves any further, I don't know, but at least they've actually started that process, if you will. And yeah, I mean, here's the thing: these judges are so they're overstepping in a drastic way. I mean, one of them tried to say that President Trump still has to send foreign aid to other countries. Who the hell is a judge to try to tell the President of the United States of America that he has to steal money from the American taxpayers and send it to another country? I mean, because that's literally what you're saying. If you're saying that the president has to send money to other countries, you're saying this judge is ruling and saying President Trump has to steal money from American taxpayers and send it to a foreign land. That is insane that a judge would even entertain that idea and even think that they have the authority to tell a sitting president of the United States of America what they can and cannot do in that situation. This is wild, honestly, when you really break it down into how these judges are acting right now.
Well, I wonder who he's getting kickbacks from. I guess we'll find out soon enough. All right, guys, we got to take one more quick break, and then we'll be right back with even more.
Attention American business owners, big or small, your company deserves to be seen, and Patriot TV is here to help. We're proud to support American-owned businesses by offering a free listing of your company on Patriot TV Store. That's right, no cost, just visibility to millions of loyal viewers who want to support American businesses like yours. Whether you run a small business or a nationwide company, this is your chance to reach a dedicated audience on Patriot TV Store on major smart TVs like Samsung, LG, Sony, TCL, Roku, also on Apple, Android, Amazon, Fire Stick, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Truth Social, X, and of course, the Patriot TV Store app and website. It's our way of giving back to the community and helping American businesses thrive. Let's work together to build a stronger America. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Get your free business listing today. Contact us at info@patriot.tv.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Families across the nation have arrived at a heartbreaking crossroad to surrender their beloved animals at alarming rates due to inflation and soaring costs of living.
There are so many overcrowded shelters. So many dogs need a home, but it's all of us working together to solve this crisis.
This fight requires both doers and dollars. Join us at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Please sign up today.
If you're about to replace your roof, stop. There's a solution about 80% less expensive. 9 out of 10 roofs can be saved by RoofMax. Guaranteed to extend the life of your current roof by 5 to 15 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. RoofMax's deep penetrating power restores flexibility and water protection. Nobody wants to replace their roof. Restore it instead with RoofMax for 80% less. Call now for a free roof inspection.
You're muted, Mike.
That's what I get for sneezing during the break. Thank you for staying with us. And again, the best way to support our program and all the programs here on Patriot TV is by supporting our sponsors. And right now, MyPillow is offering a special free shipping on all orders. You use code INSURRECTION. Some great products over there. Personally, I'm a giant fan of the slippers. I heat my house mostly with wood throughout the winter. So in the middle of the night, if I've got to go through logs on the fire, I don't want to put my shoes on or anything else. I usually use the my slippers are great. I can go back, I can walk on the tile floor without freezing my toes off. They're a wonderful product. Well,
for the record, he's not just saying that. He loves these house shoes. He tells me about it all the time. I'm not even joking. So I wanted to throw that out there.
Those are the absolute best. A few years ago when they had to change vendors and didn't have them for a while, just had the regular sandals and slippers, I was really frustrated. I was glad I bought these beforehand, but yeah, I've been telling everybody about these things for years. Again, especially for the price. Well, we got more lunatic judges up in the queue here, so let's try to get through the last of them. Federal judge questions constitutionality of DOJ, says she can't tell who's running it, and no agency head has been confirmed by the Senate. Well, as most of you are already aware, DOJ was put in under an existing executive agency, and like any other federal contractor, of course, they have the authority to do what they're doing, but again, the left doesn't live in reality.
Well, maybe they should cut Elon Musk's salary. Oh, wait, he's doing it for free. Like he's working. The richest man in the entire world, not the country, the richest known man, I should say, in the entire world. I believe that there's a secret list of ultra wealthy people that nobody knows about. Well, that's a conspiracy theory for another day. But the richest man that we know of in the entire world is sleeping on the floor of it or on the couch of an office space in Washington, D.C., trying to save our country. And you have these people who are upset and mad about it. This has been absolutely fascinating to watch the left just double down. They're like, we don't care what happens to our party. Like we're going to double down on this anti-Elon Musk, anti-Doge thing. I mean, on one hand, you have the government who is stealing people's money and then turning around, and a lot of these people are we'll forget about the fraud. We know that, or we'll forget about the waste and abuse. We know there's a lot of waste and abuse. Let's just focus on the fraud. We know that they're using this money to self-enrich themselves, to give themselves grants, to fund things, to create these charities, to funnel money into these foundations. We know all of this. It's been proven already within a month. It's been proven without a doubt. There's no longer a conspiracy theory. And now you have Elon Musk, Doge, President Trump, who are saying, hey, we are going to do something about this. They're stealing your money. They are using it to literally self-enrich themselves, and we're going to put a stop to it, and we're going to give some of that money back to you as an individual because we should have never stolen it from you to begin with. And you have a group of people who've been brainwashed into thinking that Musk and Trump are the bad guys for doing that. It is truly... They should do a study on these people. I'm not even joking. There should be a study on these people who have been so brainwashed into believing that Trump and Doge and Musk are the bad guys in this exact situation. You can't even make this up.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they don't want money returned to the American people that otherwise would have been spent on fraudulent causes, the fact that they're standing against that is definitely not helping them. I mean, again, this just illustrates why there is 70% approval for Doge and what President Trump is doing, exposing all this waste, fraud, and abuse and crimes, frankly. And Democrat Party approvals collapsed to 26%. That seems to be in line right there. But it's only going to continue because we've got even more. New GOP congressman drafting articles of impeachment against Biden judge who strong-armed Trump, ordered admin to pay for foreign contracts by midnight tomorrow. So again, they're trying to force Trump to end this spending freeze and give money to foreign nations above the American people. And we're not talking about necessary aid contracts. They've actually already gone back and restarted most of those where we were actually delivering something of substance, whether it was medical supplies, food, or water to different nations that were truly in need of it. They've already reopened those contracts. That message hasn't gone out to any of their leftist protesters. I think we played this like a week or so ago where they showed up and tried to hold a little protest at a congressional hearing and then were informed that that program was indeed still being funded.
Dan Given brings up a good point. Says many of these judges have 501c3s and they're on the take from USAID money, which I believe 100% as well. And actually, some of it's been confirmed actually, or they're family members. So I think one of them has a daughter that has this foundation. One of them has a wife. So it's not them specifically, but you know, we all know how that goes. But yeah, once again, who do these judges think that they are? I don't care if it's the greatest national disaster or the greatest catastrophe in world history. A judge does not have the authority to order the president to send aid or anything else over to help these people. Now, I believe that we would. Americans are charitable people. I have no issues helping some of these people in these other countries, but I will choose to do that with my money. I don't want the government stealing my money and then determining and pretending they know what's best for me in terms of what things I want to donate that to. I just don't think that that's their role to do that. But where do we draw the line if we allow these judges? So, for instance, he has to do it by midnight tomorrow. Get out of here, dude. Like, who do you think you are at the end of the day to tell the president of the United States that he has to send money to a foreign country by midnight tomorrow? And so, once again, what's going to happen when President Trump says no? What happens at that point? I don't know what happens, but I'm eager to find out because I'm really hoping that President Trump tells him we're not sending anything over there. Like, well, you know, I hope that he refuses to do it. I want to find out what happens here. But this is unprecedented. It really is. I don't think that people are truly grasping the magnitude of the constitutional situation that we are currently finding ourselves in. Like, it is very possible that this leads to some sort of constitutional crisis where there has to be some sort of serious constitutional change made for the future. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but like, I don't know when they created the Constitution, they ever imagined that a judge would pretend to have this much authority. So I don't, you know what I mean? I think that there's just something that's pretty, a much bigger issue than it's getting credit for in terms of the constitutional standpoint.
Agreed. And, you know, it's probably going to go end up having to go to the Supreme Court on a number of these. I know with one of them already, the Supreme Court's didn't take the Rush case, that instead they're going to wait for it to go through the process. But I mean, again, this is why we have our weak Supreme Court or spineless Supreme Court, why some adjustments need to be made there. You know, there's a lot of people on the left also scared that over the next year, Sotomayor is going to step down and Trump will get to appoint yet another justice. And hopefully this time it's somebody that will take these kind of cases and will fight for our Constitution and the will of the American people. But there's another person that's got some major problems brewing. We're probably going to have a lot more on this by tomorrow, but I'm sure you guys already saw reporter Nick Sorter confronts Eric Swalwell on sleeping with the Chinese spy, Fang Fang, while calling Elon Musk a national security threat. Well, the story doesn't end there. There's going to be a lot more coming out about this. Sorter was on with Tim Pool yesterday and mentioned that he has a recording. Apparently Swalwell was drunk at this restaurant they both happened to be at, and was with a bunch of lobbyists, couldn't stop talking about what Sorter assumed were state secrets and other inside information that Swalwell had with these people loudly, where the whole restaurant could hear what he had to say. So he's already turned this into the ethics committee. Not to mention, he was talking to these lobbyists about his desire to cheat on his wife and that he only wants to sleep with tens. So Swalwell has probably got a world of hurt coming his way soon.
How is this man still in Congress, let alone sitting on some of these committees that he's on? I'm sorry. Let's just pump the brakes for a second. Let's just pretend and give him the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, it was truly just negligence and incompetence on his part, sleeping with a Chinese spy. You know, like let's just pretend. Even if that's the case, if it was the most innocent thing ever, he had no idea, no intentions, didn't give up any information, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, your incompetence as when you're a member of Congress and you allow your incompetence to literally put the safety and of the entire country at risk because of your incompetence, you do not get to sit and hold that position any longer. That to me is common sense. I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're Democrat, none of that stuff matters in that regard. He literally put our country at risk because he was sleeping with a Chinese spy. And then he has the audacity and he's so pompous and arrogant that he wants to turn around and try to pretend that Elon Musk is a security risk. You can't even make this up at this point, man. Like, you, Eric Swalwell, do not have the authority to call anyone a security risk to our country ever again for the rest of your life after what you did. But back to the Nick Sorter thing. That is, Nick did a great job. He confronted him, asked him about those questions. It's going to be interesting to find out, what was said in that restaurant, what was said to these lobbyists, what kind of information is he feeding them and giving them. Once again, this is unacceptable from Eric Swalwell, and so this is another strike on him. But he should never even be a congressman right now today after what had happened with the whole Chinese spy a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're desperate for funding right now, but this isn't how you get it, Swalwell. I learned something else interesting last night, too. Apparently, Fang Fang is no more. She was back in China in 2022. I guess she died in a mysterious plane crash, and I had not heard that before. Well, we got one last story I at least want to touch on, and that's our buddy Eye Patch McCain. Hot Mike, Dan Crenshaw, says he would kill Tucker Carlson if they ever met. So Tucker invited him for a sit-down interview. Again, this just shows, Tucker is both the world's greatest troll and the journalist that the rest of our media should be trying to emulate right now.
Absolutely. And Tucker was serious. I'm sure he would actually bring him in and sit down and have a conversation with him. Dan Crenshaw is one of the biggest rhinos and disappointments in modern history in terms of politics, mainly because of what you said earlier, Mike. He had the commercials. He had all the right talking points going in. Everybody thought that he was going to be, this awesome patriot, and he is a spineless jellyback rhino. They don't get much more squishy than Dan Crenshaw. And, the fact that he would actually say that, then, and once again, this is not one thing. He said that about Tucker. We remember him kicking Noel Fritsch for the national foul and tried to trip him on the stairs. He's done this multiple times and showed. Who was it he got into that big argument with on Twitter? Was that Nick Sorter as well? He was calling him out, and they were fighting on X. And then,
I think that was Sorter. Yeah,
I think so too. But he's out here, making a butt of himself with random people on X. Just speaking and what's the word I'm trying to, uncontrollably, cannot control his emotions and his temper, and he's shown that time and time again.
Yeah, and he's gotten into it with Marjorie Taylor Greene, other congressmen before, and same thing. He's just disrespectful and disconnected. Guys, we're about out of time here, but I do want to remind you, coming up this Saturday at 1 p.m. here on X American News, you'll be able to see Humanity First. This is with Jeff Dornan, and this is going to be talking about transhumanism. Again, 1 p.m. this coming Saturday, they'll be featuring Senator Ron Johnson, Nicole Shanahan, Ann Vandersteel, Maria Z, and many others. Please join us there. I'll have some links up and some more information about this over the next coming days. But yeah, again, please join us this Saturday. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. And we'll be back tomorrow with even more.